This is a Steam game running locally on a phone, and if Valve makes this official, the Play Store might be in real trouble. But not just this. Right now, you can run most Windows games on Android if your phone is powerful enough. And even though this is incredibly convenient, it's unofficial. But this isn't just a gamer trick, it hints at something bigger. What if Steam itself officially supported native Steam game execution on Android hardware? That's a shift that could disrupt not only how gamers play, but how developers think about distribution and publishing, including the Play Store and iOS ecosystems. And this future might be closer than you think. To understand this, we need to talk about CPU architectures. Most PCs and laptops use processors by Intel or AMD based on the x86 architecture. But most mobile devices, including phones, tablets, and many handhelds like Nintendo, use ARM-based chips made by Qualcomm, MediaTek, or Apple. So, when developers want to support both PC and mobile, they often have to port their game from x86 to ARM, a process that can be painful and time-consuming, full of bugs and platform-specific quirks. Because of this, many popular games skip mobile ports entirely or take years to arrive. Recently, Valve announced Steam Frame, a VR headset powered by a Snapdragon chip. And inside this headset is a set of technologies that can run both x86 and ARM games directly on Steam VR. The first one is Proton, a compatibility layer that lets Windows games run on Linux. It translates Windows APIs like DirectX into Linux equivalents like Vulkan, the same tech that makes games playable on the Steam Deck. But on ARM devices, there's a bigger challenge. x86 instructions don't run on ARM chips without translation. That's where FEX comes in. It's an emulator that dynamically rewrites x86 code into ARM code in real time. Because of this stack, Proton plus FEX, it's now possible to run a huge portion of PC games on ARM-based devices without manually porting them. And there's more. Valve's upcoming Steam Frame VR headset will natively support not just Windows games via Proton or FEX, but also Android APKs, effectively blending Steam, Android, and ARM platforms. Valve has also been reported to be working on an Android compatibility layer for Linux, codenamed Lepton, letting Android games run on Linux as native applications inside SteamOS. But all of this didn't just happen overnight. In a recent interview, Valve engineers said that they have been investing in these technologies for over a decade. Valve believes that the time spent porting games is wasted time. A game should just work out of the box on any device a player owns. That's why they are going all in on these technologies. The games you saw earlier were running in an app called GameHub. It uses Proton and FEX to run Windows games on Android. You can connect your Steam library, install games directly, and play. No file copying, no transfers. It even supports non-Steam games. And with third-party apps already doing this, Valve may eventually make it official. Nothing is confirmed, but it could happen. An official Steam store for phones, or maybe a separate app made by Valve, or maybe even a Steam phone. And I'm not just speculating about alternative distribution model for phones. We are already seeing them happen, like Epic Games, after years of legal battles with Apple and Google over App Store rules and fees, has launched its own mobile app store on iOS and Android devices. That's a concrete example of how mobile distribution is evolving right now. If Steam follows the same, we might see a real shift. So, what does this mean for us as a developer? Imagine a future where you publish your game on Steam and that very same build runs on desktop PCs, ARM handhelds, VR headsets, and even on your phones. No multiple storefronts registrations. No forced integration of store-specific services like Google Play Games. For developers, this would be amazing. And honestly, I want this to happen. Publishing on the Play Store is far from straightforward. Google exposes your address to users, and developer accounts can be terminated without warning. So, a unified storefront would be a massive win. But not everything is rosy. Just because a game can run on a phone doesn't mean it will play well on a phone. PC UI doesn't work well on touch screens. Developers will need to support touch controls, or players would need controllers. Hardcore players will use controllers, sure, but casual players won't. Then there's performance issue. Even with native ARM execution, translation layers still add overhead. You will see lower FPS, high thermals and more battery drain compared to a true native Android build. And there's one more thing that we often forget. Not everyone has a flagship phone. Most people are still using mid-range or budget devices, and those simply can't handle resource-heavy PC games, even with translation layers and optimizations. So, while this tech is exciting, it doesn't mean every game suddenly becomes mobile-friendly. But it does work really well for games that don't need a lot of compute power like indie games, 2D games, strategy games, etc. with lighter graphics. And that's where this becomes interesting for developers because those games already make up a huge part of Steam library. So maybe the question isn't if Steam replaces the Play Store, but what happens when it does? What do you think? Will Valve release a GameHub style app? Let me know in the comments.